Hello and welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports. And today we're going to do an unboxing of a Praxis bottom bracket. Now, before I get into that, this morning I ran into, excuse me, I ran into a viewer who was riding a sweet Eddie Merckx steel frame. And well, I found out he was a viewer because he knew my name and I didn't know his. And he says, "Oh, Mr. Vargas, steel bikes," and so we had a little chat. So it it appeared to me that it was a Merckx with some campy componentry on it. So he did mention that he watched my video on the EE brakes. So if you're watching today, if you want, please bring your bike in so I can do a breakdown on it, because I think it's a sweet looking bike and I'd like to share it with my viewers. I had a steel fork and just a beautiful, one of those red, white, and blue type of Columbus Max. Neva Chrome is what he told me. So anyway, I'd like to take a deeper dive into your bike if you'll allow it. And, make some comments down below, folks, if you want to see that bike. All right. So today we're going to do, as I mentioned, excuse me, the unboxing of this Praxis bottom bracket. And I've been using Praxis for many years, in the sense that if anything was a BB30, if anything was a PF30, I would convert it to a 24 millimeter for my Shimano cranksets. So this is what it looks like. And if anyone's used anti-seize, you know how messy this stuff is. So quick question: who uses anti-seize and who uses grease when you put in threaded type bottom brackets? Now the reason, so make a comment down below. I go either way, sometimes grease, sometimes anti-seize, or I believe it's called copper slip in Europe. So this is a bottom bracket that I used to use to convert a BB30 bottom bracket back into a 24 millimeter opening ID inner dimension so that I can use my Shimano cranksets. I didn't like the whole PF30 thing and, Cannondale, BB30. They went away from it. They went back to threaded bottom brackets. I believe, I don't sell these bikes, so I believe the Specialized SL8s or S-Works, whatever, they're back to a threaded bottom bracket as well. So great thing for a little while, but it always comes back to some of the basic things, right? And I liked these bottom brackets because they were so, when you thread into each other, that's it. There was no creaking, there was no noise, there was nothing. And these bearings would last a long, long time. The other thing I would do if I had a spacers, if I had a 386 Evo or any of those types of bikes, I would use an enduro bearings bottom bracket and also thread it into each other and let's see, get that threaded into each other. And then these cups here would sit like so close to the edge of the frame that I needed a tool to get those on. And I would just do that because I ride Shimano. Some of you don't. I get it. Don't worry about it. I've never had a crankset delaminate on me. I don't have any safety concerns. And all the new ones are a new bonding process anyway. So if you hate Shimano, no problem. Now that brings us to the unboxing of this bottom bracket. I have a gentleman who has a SRAM red crankset that he needs to bring over to his Ritchie frame. So I'm going to install this bottom bracket on his frame and then ship it to him. And this bottom bracket is what they call an M30 Thru, and it's a BSA, so English thread. And what it does is it takes your English 68 millimeter bottom bracket, and now you can run your BB30 through here. Okay. Now, there were, I don't know, 3 or 4 other options. There was the Easton one. There was several options. But I mean, for $45, I prefer the Praxis one. It's got steel bearings in it. It's an ABEC 5 rating on the steel bearings. Not a fan of ceramic bearings. I've never seen them last any period of time. So if someone rides a lot, steel bearings, please. Anyway, ABEC 5. And if you are not aware of the continuum here, we have 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. 5 being in the middle. 1, not so great tolerance. It's a very wide tolerance. And then 7 and 9. So here's a 5. 7 and 9 are very precise. They're the bearings and stuff that's used in machinery that makes the bearings. So very high exacting tolerances there. Okay, so 68 mil, as I said earlier, and it comes with 2.5 millimeter spacers, adapters, whatever you want to call it. What it will take this, it takes this 68 mil and makes it 73 mil in case you want to use it on, let's say, a mountain bike, right, with threaded cups. So 73. Now, let me read to you the cranksets that Praxis said is compatible with. You have the SRAM, as we talked about, Raceface Easton cinch cranks, Rotor Rex, and I don't know what those are. I know what the 3D Plus cranks are. Cane Creek EE wings. So we were talking about Cane Creek EE brakes in the last video. And before I go any further, I do want to give Praxis a huge thumbs up. If anyone is old enough to remember Siskel and Ebert, a 2 thumbs up, because their documentation, their literature, their manuals, whatever you want to call it, is very, very good. Okay, so everything is called out, spacers, dust caps, all that stuff is called out. So if you, whatever crankset you're using, it also comes with these dust caps. So you can put those on based on whatever crankset. And there is a chart and everything is explained to you there. So Praxis has a very good technical pubs division, I guess. So good for them and good for us because it makes it easier for us. All right, so back to the spec. These are ABEC 5. We talked about that. They do make a ceramic version. They also claim it to be grade 5. Ceramic version is grade 5. So there you go there. 100 grams for the bottom bracket. I don't know how much other bottom brackets weigh. Honestly, we need to stop focusing on weight. It's right there in the literature, so I shared it with you, but honestly, we need to stop talking about weight, and especially on steel bikes. It's really just, yeah, it's a fruitless effort because there's always going to be something lighter. So why rack your brain researching to try to get something that's light? Now, one other thing, you will need these Praxis this Praxis tool. So like everyone, like everyone else, they want to do, they want to invent a better mousetrap. So now, if they do, well, there can't be commonality, right? There can't be standardization. They have to have another another tool. So luckily, I've already done a lot of different Praxis components, bottom brackets, I should say. So I already had the tool. But if you don't have the tool, you will need to include that in the price of the bottom bracket. So, $45 for the bottom bracket and then the tools. But that is all that I have for you today. I'd like to hear from some of you folks who have used the Praxis bottom bracket in the past. Are you an enduro bearing fan? And then the hot topic, I guess, would be, are you all in on ceramic, Kogel and all this other stuff, that ceramic speed, or are you a steel bearings, steel ball bearings type of guy, gal, mechanic? Tell me, if you are a shop person, or a wrench in a shop, what's been your experience with the longevity of a ceramic bottom bracket? Okay, well, that is all for today. Please like and subscribe. We could easily have a 20,000 subscriber channel. We're barely at 8,100. I don't even think we're at 8,100 yet. So, but I do appreciate everyone else who has subscribed already. If you share my videos with folks, ask those folks to also like and subscribe. All right, that's all for today. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you up the road.